Hello, and thank you for tuning in. As some of you may remember, I did an interview with Keith Lowe at Origins in 2011 about this game called MERCS. A couple of months ago, I was looking about for a skirmish-level wargame, and I decided to pick up a copy of the rulebook and the starter box sets for the KimVar and CCC. Before I go into the review of the MERCS Rulebook, I have to say that it was refreshing to buy a starter box set that was just that. All of the miniatures needed to play one faction in a game. On to the review. Military, Economic, Reconnaissance, Counter-Security, or simply MERCS, is a tabletop miniature wargame set in the year 2183 on a dystopian Earth. Multinational corporations have merged with countries to form megacons, mega conglomerates. Let's peruse the major players, shall we? The CCC, or Commercial Corporate Continuity, was a merger of Chicago, Cincinnati, Cleveland holdings, allowing it to become the dominant megacon of North America. Their premier product is AMM, Anamorphous Molecular Manipulation, bringing about the creation of flexible steel. Their elite MERCS unit is the Yellow Jackets. What they may lack in terms of training, they more than make up for with some of the best armor in the world. KimVar, originally Kemet of Brazil and Varlin of Venezuela, two competing energy corporations that saw the wisdom of a merger to dominate the world's energy market. This megacon's claim to fame is the ability to manipulate energy fields to produce active camouflage. Equipped with the AC 2.7 integrated reconnaissance system, every KimVar MERCS soldier is a wraith. Well, as long as the AC 2.7 is working. The United Social Corporate Republic, USCR, comprises a great deal of the territory that was Mother Russia. The Russian bear has been replaced by USCR's mighty behemoth. They have risen from the ashes to become a regional powerhouse. Free Corporate Control, FCC, made up of a multiple of rogues groups. While not much is known about their organization or leadership, their goal is dissolution of every single global system. Central to this is their Black Ops program. Guests loaned to the FCC house from a rival megacon for short-term objectives affords them a level of plausible deniability that allows them to continue operating. Why would a rival megacon loan out assets to a hostile entity? Strategic and tactical boons to their own machinations at the expense of their competitors. Loyalty to the bottom line is always the first priority. That is a brief overview of the megacons in the rulebook. They have since added the Kize Waza and Cephadu, with more in the works. Plenty of factions to keep your interest. The game uses heroic 28mm scale figures on a playing area, normally either a 2x2 foot or 3x3 foot game surface. It uses a D10. For a roll to succeed, it needs to be equal to or greater than the target number. Each side takes 6 miniatures. And did I mention that's precisely the number of figures in each of their starter boxes? A number of counters are needed, which are used to denote various actions and status. Given the small number of figures that are present on the game table, I don't see that as a problem. One of the first things that I noticed in the rules section was the prolific use of photos of miniatures to illustrate the rules being discussed. Now, they have great-looking miniatures, which are nicely painted. Combined with good-looking terrain, it is a strength that they play to. If you were to condense the rules down to merely text, I would guess that there are less than 15 pages of them. The pictures remove any ambiguity that I had after reading a rule, so I give them high marks for that. Let's take a brief tour of the table of contents. Who are we? That's a short write-up about the key figures in the company and some photos of them running their game. World of MERCS, a timeline of events and a brief overview of the world, advancing the world to the start date of 2183. A total of 6 pages, with plenty of art placed in the timeline. If you are looking to get 40K level of backstory and fluff, you will be disappointed. What is there is serviceable in its presentation, although not overly compelling, at least to me. However, I don't play fluff. I play rules, and if the rules work and the miniatures are interesting to me, that is far more important. An unplanned acquisition. A 12-page story that seeks to relay more of the background material than it probably should, meaning that the story's pacing suffers as a result. I am not going to fault the author for that, as I am guessing that there was an editorial push to get more fluff out there. There is a suitably hard-edged tone to the violence, and the physical descriptions of the characters instills the sense that this is an unforgiving time. Not a bad read, far better than some of the vampire prose I've been subjected to over the years. What you need. Precisely what the title states. All of the elements needed to play the game. Game rules. Here is where the book truly shines. Logical layout, excellent graphics, concise rules with pictures that get the point across. Are they groundbreaking rules? Not really. They are well thought out and well designed, though. Faction write-ups, covering the CCC, Kimvar, USCR, and FCC. Here they've included more faction fluff, which is actually pretty good, along with character-specific material. Scenarios. There are 5 scenarios, and I wish there would have been more. I certainly like the ones they included. Art and gallery. A cool section showing the great-looking miniatures in various stages of design, along with other assorted artwork. FAQ. It is nice to have this included, and considering that most FAQs seem to fall short of the mark, this one did answer the few questions that I had. That takes care of the table of contents for the book. Now, pros. I like the idea of the stat cards being used as movement aids, firing arcs, and for line of sight. The book is full color, laid out well, and the use of pictures to illustrate the rules is very well done. 6 factions is a good number to allow for some interesting games. The importance of tactics, as opposed to which faction has the latest greatest weapons, is refreshing, and something that I would like to see from some other game companies. Games Workshop. Cons. The fluff. Background material is sparse, but what they have is serviceable. It has a familiar dystopian trope of the rise of megacorps. Summary. I get the sense after going through this book that Brian Schoten, the author, is a game designer first and foremost, not so much a fiction writer. This opinion formed after I noted an unexplained acquisition was written by Jennifer Sims, and that the fluff is so sparse. What works for me is that the rules make sense. The miniatures are very well sculpted. Let me repeat that. The miniatures are very well sculpted, and that the art in the book is predominantly based off of those great miniatures with sharp-looking paint jobs. I have to say that the photography in this book is very good, and I am glad they included it. Style and form. I give this book 4 out of 5 stars. Visually, this book is very slick. I like the layout. The rules are rock solid, and it's easy to understand. I really wanted to give it 5 out of 5 stars, but the fluff just trips me up. At the one end of the spectrum, you have Games Workshop's 40K, with the tidal wave of fluff, to the point that it becomes obtuse. So that's not what I want to see. Just a little more fluff on the front end, giving me a better feel for the world and the factions, and I could easily see my way clear of breaking the current 4-star ceiling. Execution. 4 out of 5 stars. This book has good quality paper, binding, hardcover, full color with art, some of which is truly exceptional, and the majority is far above average, making for a quality product. There are some typos and grammatical errors. Ease of use. 4 out of 5 stars. Normally, I would insist on an index, but the table of contents shoots you to the section that you need without a problem. The inclusive nature of the data on the stat cards for each miniature ensures that you have the pertinent information at your fingertips. Final rating, 4 out of 5 stars. Priced at $34.95, 174 pages, in full color. I highly recommend this as an excellent entry point into a sci-fi skirmish level wargame. Well, that does it for me. Remember, when you've secured the area, do not forget to tell the enemy.